Welcome to Daily Practice Live with Nikhil. And in today's practice, we're going to do a little bit of meditation. But before that, we will generally reflect on some questions for us to ponder about. So the first question was, what does being present actually feel like in your body? Not conceptually, but actually viscerally. So, what does it feel like? Just maybe closing your eyes. I know you may be running around in thoughts. Maybe there are different difficult thoughts, maybe there are indifferent thoughts, maybe there are voices, there are sounds. But being present, what does it mean in the body? Do you feel a sense of stillness, or do you feel a sense of lightness, or a lack of effort that everything is simply existing around you and you're not doing anything? And in this society where we, again, make great things about doing, we often don't simply be. And maybe even bringing a time where you were fully engaged in something ordinary, but it felt extraordinary. What was happening in that moment? Or maybe you can ask these questions of, what's a belief you've been carrying that might not be entirely true anymore? And where did it come from? And maybe even thinking of pieces of advice you were given that sounded wise but never sat right with you. For me, the big one is you can sleep when you're dead. That is a very poor advice, because that just undermines everything we are as human beings, and we are just productivity machines, or things that just run and run and run and until they grind. So that is not something which sits right with me, and I believe this is the culture we are living in, and this is the people, when you speak to them, they talk about this a lot, even when they know themselves how sleep, how rest can improve their performance, productivity, and life in general. And they say this not out of malice, but out of their own suffering. And that is some realization which we can get to, is that people project their insecurities on you because they are insecure themselves. So when you hear phrases like think positive, and what's your honest reaction? And you don't have to type it out, you just have to let it come to you. What does it mean? Think positive. And if you feel like sharing, please feel free to share, but it's not about that. It is about what comes to your mind and how do you notice in the body. And that is the practice for today. We are going to cultivate a practice that helps us bring ourselves into the moment a bit fuller. So let us take this moment to begin the practice. Yeah. And there is this concept that you cannot force your way to thinking positively. Yeah, this is difficulty with the positivity in general, but I don't believe that we don't have to we don't have to let go of what we are going through right now, or be dismissive of something which is happening right now for us to feel joy or happiness. So the things which are happening right now is happening. There is pain, there is deep sadness, there is overwhelm, there is maltreatment, all of that. And yes, your feelings are valid. But those feelings does not cause any other feelings. Those are just feelings in that moment. And the problem we associate is with those feelings to the positive feelings. So then when you have a positive feeling without having a negative feeling, we feel embarrassed. We feel like we are not worthy. We feel like, oh, I shouldn't be having this because previously I had it before, after I had a very difficult emotion. So yeah, that's a strange concept. I think I understand it from a philosophical standpoint, but in practice, how do we manage it? How do we get ourselves ready in the midst of something which is really troubling for us? That's where all this practice comes in. It's all the practice of mindfulness, acceptance, gratitude, kindness, compassion to yourself. All of that together comes in that moment to help you be present with whatever it is that you're doing. So I invite you to explore whatever emotion, whatever is holding you back right now, and asking yourself a question, which is, who am I without these? Imagine had a magic wand and I swiped that thing out of your life. First of all, it might be difficult to even imagine your life without this thing. But imagine for a second, I wiped it clean. What is your life like? Who are you? What do you want to do? And it's not a dismissing the past or your own lived experience. It is just a contemplative question is, who am I without suffering? Who am I with unlimited joy? Who am I with unlimited love? Who am I? And your answer will be different from in everyone else. And I invite you to explore it. And let these questions and thoughts just linger with you while we continue our practice. So let us jump into a little bit of a meditation. If you are okay, I invite you to visualize a wheel with 4 spokes and one central hub. So it's a big wheel with 4 spokes, 4 quadrants. And this is something which represents our awareness. Each quadrant can be something that you are aware of. So, what we see, what we hear, taste and touch, bodily awareness, mental activities, and our sense of connection to things outside ourselves. So, the purpose of this practice is to cultivate a full sense of connection and awareness to both yourself and the world around you. So, let us begin. I hope you are already in a comfortable position, either sitting on a cushion, on a floor, in a chair, allowing your spine to be straight and long, and let the shoulders drop if that is comfortable. Be relaxed. Hands on your lap or wherever it feels natural. Gently closing your eyes if this is convenient for you. Become aware of the rhythm of your breathing. There's no need to change your breath in any way. Simply notice it exactly as it is. Maybe there are thoughts already in your mind which are distracting you from this practice. I invite you to notice those thoughts, simply acknowledge them, come back to the awareness of the rhythm of your breath. And I invite you to bring this, the wheel with 4 quadrants. And each of these quadrant represents some aspect of our awareness. So the first aspect is our 5 senses. So let the left quadrant of the wheel house all the 5 and more senses. Zoom in this area. What can you hear? What can you sense a touch? What can you feel? What can you smell and taste? What are you noticing? Maybe even opening your eyes. What are you seeing? What can you see? Without any judgment, without striving to do better, simply acknowledge these senses and how it interacts with yourself. And you can close your eyes again and bring the wheel back in your mind. Now take a slow breath here. And I would like to invite you to turn your attention to the top right quadrant, which houses something called the sixth sense, which is the inner sensations of our own body. So take a few moments to scan through your body from head to toe, becoming aware of any physical sensations that arise, that are present. Tingling, heat, numbness, sensations like cold, warmth, vibrations, tightness, spaciousness, going through each body group, just noticing, being curious, just observing. And now let's take another deep breath here. And next, I would like to invite you to turn your attention to the bottom left quadrant of your wheel of awareness, which houses the activities of the mind itself, including your emotions, thoughts, memories, hopes, beliefs, dreams, attitudes, and intentions. First, simply become aware of everything that is entering your mind at this moment. Welcoming this mental activity into your awareness. What thoughts and feelings are showing up right now? Next, begin to examine how these internal experiences arise and pass. Do they come up suddenly or gradually? Do they stay constant? Do they fade in and out? Maybe your mind has already wandered off into thoughts of the future, simply accepting where it is gone and bringing it back to this practice of cultivating awareness. Maybe noticing the gaps between the different mental activities, or do they happen as one long stream of consciousness? Excellent. Now let's take another nice deep breath here. And we'll bring our attention to the center of the wheel, the hub, which is where the awareness stems from. This hub is the you that has noticed everything so far in this practice. This is the aspect of you without the suffering, without the pain, without all the layers we add. The part that is always observing, listening, looking, focusing, sensing, and just being. Take some time here, get to know this part of yourself. As we cultivate awareness of awareness in this practice. Now let's take another deep breath, slow breath here, and then turn our attention to the bottom right quadrant of the wheel of awareness, which houses your sense of connection, your common humanity with the world. First, notice a sense of connection with the people physically closest to you right now. Then expand this sense of connection to people further away. And then tap into your sense of connection to your loved ones, wherever they may be right now. And then widen this connection step by step. Include those who live in your neighborhood, your city, your country, the continent, and the entire world. And finally, to all living beings on earth. And as you may come to an end with this meditation, simply bring your attention back to your breath. And as you did at the beginning of the practice, you might feel like taking a few deep, slow breaths here. Ground yourself back into this moment. Then, when you're ready, simply opening your eyes if they were closed and re engaging with the rest of the world. So, as we come towards the end of this practice, I want you to think about what's the one thing that you can let be instead of trying to fix, improve, or change today. Something you can just let things be. Another question you can ask is if you could treat the next hour of your life as sacred, how would you move differently? What would you notice that you usually overlook? So from this moment for the next hour, everything is sacred. Everything you see, everything you touch, everyone you speak to, everything is sacred for the next hour. What would you start to notice? And another question for self-reflection is, what's one small mindful action you can take today that feels nourishing? Not because it's impressive, but it's because true for you. So, what is that thing? So, take these questions, take these thoughts, take these insights which are coming from yourself away and practice with them. So, yeah, thank you for listening in, tuning in again with another daily practice with me, Nikhil. Until next time, take it easy.